Good morning. I'm Bhuvan Apurvcha. This is the Indian Express Explained. Let's get started. If you have any particular doubts related to whatever we discuss here this morning, you go ahead and connect with me on my Instagram ID, right? That goes by the name of Bhuvan StudyIQ. You can also connect with me on my email ID, that is bhuvan.jha@studyiq.com, right? So the first news that you should focus on completely, Creative Cities Network, okay? UNESCO has gone ahead and announced 55 new cities across the world, okay? So for the year 2023, you have 55 new cities that have come under the Creative Cities Network, okay? So yesterday, in fact, World Cities Day was observed. It was observed throughout the whole world, in fact. And when you look at Agenda 2030, the Sustainable Developmental Goals, you find that one of the key ingredients, one of the key components of that goals is to make our cities sustainable. If you look at SDG 11, if I'm not mistaken, it is SDG 11. Yes, SDG 11, making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient and sustainable. This is one of the key agenda under the Sustainable Development Goals, the Agenda 2030. So now that you understand that, well, this is in fact one of the key goals, what you find is 55 new cities have been announced by UNESCO, which is the governing organization for the Creative Cities Network. The two cities being Gwalior and Kozhikode, okay? So Gwalior gets it for the musical heritage that the place has, whereas Kozhikode has been given for the literary heritage that it has, okay? In terms of other cities of India that are presently already under the Creative Cities Network, you're looking at, say, Chennai, okay? You're looking at Hyderabad, right? You're looking at Varanasi, okay? Then you also have Srinagar, right? So these are some of the cities that are already present, the Indian cities that are already a part of this Creative Cities Network. So now what is the point of the network? What do these cities gain? What is essentially, you have to understand is that the Creative Cities Network is a peer-to-peer learning process, okay? So you are getting access to the best of the knowledge, best of the technical expertise, making that particular quality, be it say music or literature or the 5 other criteria. There are 7 criteria, a total of 7 criteria is there, under which a city may qualify for the Creative Cities Network, okay? Now does UNESCO go ahead and choose? No. Cities need to apply, okay? So you have the municipal corporations of cities that will go ahead, or say the particular governing authority of the city that will go ahead, submit an application to UNESCO. Then there are certain criteria that is laid down. If the city fulfills that criteria, it gets announced as the Creative Cities Network. Sheshmani, Coder, Your Neighbor, Bulbul, Achung, shine like the stars. Good morning. Thanks all for joining. Achung, I'm better. Thanks for asking. Thank you. Right. So this is it. 7 criteria exist. Okay. We'll discuss what are the 7 criteria, and what you need to realize is that it is the cities who need to apply. Okay. So you'll have the municipal commissioner or someone from the city government, the municipality, go ahead and submit a representation to UNESCO. Right. So let's go ahead and understand the relevance of the creative city. First, it was launched in 2004 by UNESCO. Okay. It recognizes culture and creativity as drivers of sustainable urban development. See how they are making a particular aspect of human life as the center point of sustainable development. Okay. So under Creative Cities Network, cities to draw on peer learning processes and collaborative projects so as to capitalize, so as to make the cities essentially sustainable. Right. So these 7 fields that you need to be aware of, here are they one by one. Crafts and folk art, design, film, gastronomy, which is to do with food, cuisine, okay, literature, media arts and music. So if a city has a heritage, some history, related to each of these fields, any of these fields in fact, okay, they can go ahead submit a representation to UNESCO. Correct? What is the point of the entire cities network? Go ahead, engage in peer learning process, collaborative partnerships, so as to make either culture or creativity the center point of your further development in a sustainable manner. Simple. Now, let's go ahead and understand the history of Gwalior. Okay. So in fact, just a very good coincidence. Just 2 days ago, I was reading a book by Piyush Mishra. Okay, that went by the name of Tumhari Auqat Kya Hai. Okay, where he goes and discusses his upbringing. He's from Gwalior, so he's discussing his upbringing, his initial formative years, and there he refers a lot to the musical heritage of Gwalior. Okay, so mere coincidence, but let's understand the musical heritage of Gwalior now. Okay, so first you need to understand that from 10th century onwards, we don't have really a lot of material to give us a lot of insight into what the musical heritage of Gwalior was. Okay, it was the Mughals in fact who came in and brought with themselves a lot of interest, a lot of patronage in music. Okay, so first but he realizes that Man Singh Tomar, 1486, from then onwards we have a lot of information about how Gwalior grew as a center point of music in India. Okay, so you must have all heard of, say, Baiju Bawra, Baijinath Mishra in fact, okay, also known as Baiju Bawra, right? He could go ahead and sing the Deepak Rag and thus light lamps. Okay, so you must have all heard of, say, the Gwalior Gharana, for example. What is Gharana? This is the, say, house of learning. Yes, it is the house of that particular city. So you have Gwalior Gharana, the other Gharanas exist across India, Lucknow Gharana, for example, right? So these particular cities grew as centers of musical traditions. And then you had people come out of those centers of musical traditions, such as Baiju Bawra, such as Tansen, such as Muhammad Ghaus. Correct? So first example is obviously Baijinath Mishra, who, well, it is said that he could light up lamps by singing the Deepak Rag. Similarly, Mian Tansen, considered to be the most influential in North Indian classical music. Yes, he was known for singing Malhar Rag. He could make it rain, apparently, by singing the Malhar Rag. Right? You also had Muhammad Ghaus, who was excellent in the Dhrupad style. All of them associated with the Gwalior Gharana. You see? So, it's not that the city has no history in music. It has immense, rich history in music. And that is not all. That history has been continued forward even till this date. As I'm sure you all must have heard of the songs of Piyush Mishra also. Right? So this is what he refers to in his book also. Correct? So this is why you find that because of the rich heritage of Gwalior, musical heritage of Gwalior, right, it is getting categorized as the city of music. Similarly, the other category, Kozhikode. Now let's look at what Kozhikode has done for literature. Okay. So what you find is, see how they have gone ahead and categorized. Kozhikode right now, okay, has among the highest number of libraries in India. Among the highest number of libraries. Okay. A rich literature festival goes on there almost every year. Okay. It has several printing presses. Plus, you obviously realize that it is part of Kerala, which means obviously, say, the educational awareness is quite high. Correct? And these were the primary criteria on which they went ahead and categorized Kozhikode. Right? So where did the genesis come from? Because what you realize is that all of this is quite recent in fact. Okay? Quite recent phenomenon. Say unlike Gwalior, which we are looking at 1486 and Man Singh Tomar and Baiju Bawra and Tansen, right? Quite a lot of history there. But in Kozhikode's case, this is recent. And yet the city has come up as a center point of literature, at least in South India. Okay? So where did this whole idea come from? The genesis. The Kozhikode district administration and the University of Prague, okay, they went ahead and researched on Kozhikode's literary history. Okay? So thus you had a comparative study that was done and you found that, well, there was a robust foundation, a literary foundation, an undercurrent existed in Kozhikode. Okay? You had 500 libraries, more than 70 publishers, a prominent literary fest being held every year, institutes of national relevance being present there, right? Young, thriving population interested in literature. All of that adds to that tag of Kozhikode getting the city of literature. ठीक है, ध्यान रखेंगे इसका. These are the 4 particular criteria on which you have got Kozhikode announced under the Creative Cities network. Got it, guys? Right, let's go ahead and quickly look at these questions very quickly. Which of the following is not a part of the Creative Cities network? Jaipur, Varanasi, Srinagar, none of the above. What you will do is just answer the questions like the regular students of this class have been used to. You will leave your answers for me in the comment box. Okay. Question number 1 to I think we have question number 4 or 5. Whatever question numbers, just leave your answers in a linear format. And identify the incorrectly matched. Okay. So when you probably you had a particular series come on Netflix, no, that went by the name of Bandish something. So what does Bandish mean? Okay. Is it to related to composition? What does Alankar mean? Is it melodic ornamentation? What is Raga exactly? Is it melodic modes? You will go ahead and match the following and let me know which are the incorrectly matched here. Okay. Let me know your answers. Well, before we go forward, very quickly, English batch, by the way, for the Prelims to Interview Initiative for 2024, 2025 and 26 is opening on the 17th of November. Not long to go. Okay. The English batch on 17th, the English batch on 15th and the Hindi batch just a week from now on the 10th. Okay. So if you are going to go ahead and prepare for next year or the year after that, this would be a good time to go ahead and sign up. In fact, probably the last cut-off time for next year. You know, already delayed by a month. So go ahead, quickly take your call. Sign up ASAP. If you understand the way we communicate here, well, you will find the sign up link in the description box below. Just use the code BALIVE. Okay. You will get allotted to my batch and then we can go ahead and get started with your geography and the other subjects. Fine. The second topic that comes to you comes from the state of Karnataka. Okay. Now, in isolation, this topic may not be that relevant for, say, from the examination perspective. But as an example of using digital services, yes, using digital capacity and capability to go ahead and enforce laws, right? Wildlife conservation. This would be a very good example to cite. So from that perspective, just pay attention for a couple of minutes as to how government of, well, Karnataka is going ahead and, well, you must have known by now, Karnataka is a relatively progressed state when it comes to, say, digital penetration. Okay. Thus, you find that Karnataka is now using this capacity for its protection of its forests, for the protection of its animals, its wildlife, its flora, its fauna. Okay. How are they doing it? They have essentially gone ahead and created a platform. Okay. It's a cloud-based platform that goes by the name of HAWK, Hostile Activity Watch Kernel. Now, what does HAWK do exactly? It's a cloud-based information management system, right? And it goes and interlinks databases of crime, criminals, and mortality. Do you realize this? And this is being implemented in all forest ranges and beats. Okay. So what are forest ranges and beats? Okay. So please understand this. For example, if this is your state, okay, so this will be gone ahead and distributed in different divisions. Okay. Forest, the demarcation is divisions are created. Okay. Thus you have the divisional forest officer, the DFO. Okay. A serving IFS officer is the head of the division. So you have a division which is now subcategorized into ranges. Right. Thus you have a range officer who is from the state service, who is a part in charge of the ranges. And then after that you have the beat, which is the smallest, the unitary component of a forest area. Okay. So this whole project is being implemented in my ranges and beats. Essentially, it means that it covers the entire forest divisions of the state of Karnataka. Okay? Make sure that you know this subcategorization. So all the data that the HAWK system captures from across various beats, ranges, divisions, all of that. Okay? Not just say the information bit, also the documentation bit, because please understand, government processes is all about documentation. Okay? So it is also getting the documentation of all the offenses, the progress, the reports, whatever you can think of is there online on this platform. And you find that it is being equipped with the latest security, the NIC, the National Informatics Centers, say SOP, the Standard Operating Procedure that you should have for government websites is being followed here. Okay. So these are the primary characteristics of the HAWK system. Now, why is Karnataka important? From the biodiversity perspective, if you go ahead and just take a look at the state of Karnataka, what you find is firstly, you are looking at, well, it's a part of the Western Ghats, which means it's a biodiversity hotspot. Correct? You also have the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, right? That it has a part of, right? It has around 5 national parks. You are looking at around 19 wildlife sanctuaries, bird sanctuaries, correct? So you find that this is an area of immense ecological significance, which is why the government of Karnataka has gone ahead and used digital capacity, right? Use the digital capacity to go ahead and work for wildlife conservation. This is a prime example of how you are going to amalgamate two different worlds. Okay, environment protection being fortified with, say, digital augmentation. Okay, so let's look at Karnataka's importance from the wildlife perspective. 22% of Karnataka's area covers recorded forest area. And these 22% gives me the 25% of elephant population and 20% of tiger population in India. So whenever you look at, say, the tiger census, right? Whenever you look at the tiger census figures, more often than not, you will find Karnataka in the top 3, right? It will be in the top 3 for sure. Why is that? Because of the immense potential of the state in terms of having tiger corridors, right? It has serene forests, totally protected forests, part of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, Western Ghats, right? Biodiversity hotspots. More importantly, 2 areas that you need to focus on. Number 1, the Tal Kaveri area and the Kudremukh area. Both of them now going to be soon, it is anticipated that they will be part of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Correct? And more importantly, from the FAQ perspective, here it is. In the state of Karnataka, you have the Biligiranga Hills. That is where you find that the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats meet together, right? So again, 2 different zones meeting together, which means that area will have a lot of biodiversity, guys. Okay, this is why Karnataka's wildlife is important. It's to be protected, and this step is a positive step in that regard. Okay? Make sure that you note this. This is something that I don't think many of you will be aware of, or at least you need to revise on a consistent basis. Right? Go ahead and answer these for me very quickly, ASAP. Which of the following is in the state of Karnataka? Anshi Wildlife Sanctuary, Guindi Wildlife Sanctuary, Mukurthi National Park, or none of the above. Okay. So you must have heard of the Satyamangalam forest, Satyamangalam area. Okay. So where are they? Go and open your map this evening or after the class ends. Look at the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, the exact wildlife sanctuaries that form a part of it, the tiger reserves that form a part of it. Okay. That is necessary because again, I don't think many of you would be aware, or at least if I tell you right now that give me the north to south orientation of the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, well, many of you might struggle. Here, this is your question number 2B. Answer this for me too. The north to south orientation of the components of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Right? Let me know this too. The Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve comprises which of the following? Silent Valley National Park, Bandipur National Park, Satyamangalam Wildlife Sanctuary, or all of the above. Okay? Let me know this too. Author Shivika, good morning, welcome. Welcome, guys. So if you're understanding how you should approach current affairs, guys, forget the news. Okay? Understand how you are to approach current affairs. That a simple article, you are going to go end to end. Okay? You're not just going to read the article and then flip on to the next one. That is no point. Okay? This is what is expected. You are going to go ahead and do a deep dive into that particular topic. Right? If you have any particular questions related to whatever we discuss here today, we have covered 2 topics, 1 more to go. It will be a short session. Okay? Go ahead and connect with me on my Telegram ID and you'll find the entire PDF of this lecture uploaded on my Instagram ID at around say noon or just after that. Right, the third and final topic that I have for you this morning very, very quickly. So aerogels are in the news, guys. Okay. What exactly is an aerogel? Please understand this. Simple. Okay. Simple. Let's understand it in the simplest fashion. Okay. So in aerogels, what you're looking at is that in a gel, right, you always have say a liquid component. Okay. Now that liquid component has been changed to a gas component and that becomes an aerogel for me. Okay. In fact, it is also called as a frozen gas. Such is the matter. So what does that tell you? If it is called as frozen gas, one thing that straight away should click to you is that it is highly dense. Okay. This is it. They are known for their low density. My bad. This is why they are known as frozen gas. Okay. Low density, high porosity, unique thermal and acoustic insulating properties. Yes. Because of these characteristics, yes, can you understand the applications that can come forward now? That they can be used as insulators. Absolutely. Right? You can use them for insulation, for environmental remediation, for electronics, for aerospace. Right? Why is that? Because of the properties that it carries. Density is low, porosity, which means its ability to take in water, that is high. Thermal insulation and acoustic insulation, which is why you find that this particular aerogel, wherein the liquid component has been replaced by the gas component, having these properties, has been discovered by IIT Madras and Tel Aviv Varsity. ठीक है, Kavita, good morning, welcome. Right, this is why aerogels are in the news. Why? Because again, you are going to find that a lot of application will be there for environmental remediation and electronics. And this is coming as India-Israel's cooperation in science and technology. ठीक है, right? That completes the 3 topics I had for you today. More importantly, make sure that you know the Gwalior and the Kozhikode topic well. You know, it's a very sensitive topic in terms of the value for examination. Lot of further points that come out from there. Okay, it's not just a creative cities network topic. It is also an art and culture topic. Okay, so pay special attention to that. Meanwhile, let's look at the questions of yesterday. The Amazon basin comprises which of the following groups of nations? I had given you the 9 names. The 9 names that comprises my Amazon basin. Okay, and there you find that, well, my answer is Brazil, Peru and Suriname. Okay, Argentina is nowhere near the Amazon basin. So is Uruguay, not a part of Amazon basin. Okay. Now let's look at river Congo. Since your childhood, you have read of the river Zaire. Huh? Your books earlier used to have the river Zaire. So what is river Congo's property first? Longest river of Africa is Nile. Okay. Drains into the Indian Ocean. Well, Congo drains into the Atlantic. Correct. I had asked you yesterday to go ahead and trace the route of river Congo. Does it cross the equator twice? Absolutely. So the incorrect options being asked of me, A and C, C being the answer here. Okay, once again, to those of you who haven't done it so far, go ahead and trace the route of river Congo. Okay. More importantly, also look at the 2 lakes. There are 2 lakes that the river Congo gets its water from. Make sure that you are aware of them. Okay. Let's look at question 3. We discussed road safety in detail yesterday, guys. Okay. A comprehensive analysis of road safety. We took a look at the safe systems approach. Very, very important from the mains perspective. Okay. Or at least from the examination perspective, you should fully be aware of the safe systems approach. Okay. And you should also know about the international treaties. So the Brasilia Declaration. Okay. The Brasilia Declaration on Road Safety 2015, is India a signatory to it? Absolutely. 100%. Okay. This is true. And reducing road accidents and fatalities by 50% by the year 2030 is part of Sustainable Developmental Goals is also true. Correct. So you find the correct statements here being both. Okay. Now let's look at question 4. In India, the majority of the fatalities due to road accidents occur on the national highways. Well, let's look at it. Yesterday's slide. Okay. Most accidents happen on roads other than state highways and national highways. Again, the reasons we had discussed, lack of enforcement being one. Okay. Lack of scientific road planning. It's much more likely that the roads will be constructed in a haphazard manner. Planning and construction. Correct. You're also looking at, say, the non-availability of first aid. That even if, say, an accident happens, you may not have a primary health center or a dispensary or a hospital or a trauma care center in the vicinity, which means more number of fatalities are expected. Correct? Which is why you find that most number of accidents and fatalities in India occur on the other roads other than national highways and state highways. So this is obviously incorrect. 25 to 35 age group accounts for the majority of fatalities due to road accidents. Let's look at the slide that I had for you. So in terms of age group wise distribution of accident fatalities, what you find is that the number is highest in terms of the 25 to 35 age group. Why? Because they are most on the road, right? They are the primary age group that will provide you service in a society, in an economy, right? The working age group, which is why they are most prone to accidents. Immediately after them comes my 35 to 45 and then 18 to 25. So you realize those who are contributing the most to the economy are most at risk too, right? So in terms of my question, 25 to 35 accounts for the majority is correct. The correct statements being B only. Okay? Right? that is it for this morning. These are my star individuals. I'm so happy to see the participation of, well, some new names, but majority of them being the repeat students who are doing well here, you know. And I'm sure that they will also realize that it is important, very, very important to solve questions, guys. I cannot overstress this. Don't just limit yourself to reading news. Yes, you have to interpret the news and then translate it into question solving ability. Okay. So congratulations to Crystal, I'm assuming hacker, Pranjul, Biman, Only Shots, Vidisha, Nirja, Gopesh, Pooja, Harshit, Shubham, Anadi, well done, Tanvi, Vaishnavi, Mandeep, Coder, Akhil, Satyabrata, Tanish, Revisit, Raj, Karuna, Target CSC and Gatso. Excellent job, guys. Sarvesh, how are you? Good morning, good morning. Kavita, good morning. Right. So again, to the rest of you who are watching this or joining me for the first time, please go ahead and answer the questions. Okay. Obviously, I'll request you to go ahead and like the stream also. Okay, as I should always do. But more importantly, from the student perspective, answer the questions for me. You will see that eventually it is going to help you in a very short span of time. In a month, you will see your knowledge level is now exponentially going up. Do that. Give it a shot. Right? Till I see you tomorrow morning once again with another set of topics in the Indian Express Explained. This is me, Bhuvan signing off for today. Once again, before I go and log off, I would request all of you, if you understood the topics here, do consider leaving me a like. Thanks for watching.